I just want to make this very clear. In my view, there's no left Irvine, there's no right Irvine, there is one Irvine, and that's what I'm here to represent, you. As Christina just said, it is very expensive running a campaign on the city level such as Irvine. As a successful business person, I'm funding my campaign mainly on my own. I don't have any, I'm not going to be taking suggestions from special interests or unions. I'm here to represent you, the city of Irvine. That's why I'm here. And I know I'll do a great job. Thank you.
What's interesting is we're running together as our team. We don't always agree on everything, but our principles are the same, and we do intend to keep to those principal values. But I will say that as a member of the Community Services Commission, I'm in that minority of two, working with 3 other commission appointees. But we work very well together, and we have been able to reach a consensus and get a majority vote, if not a unanimous vote, on many important issues moving this community forward. And that is, especially when it came to allocating grant funding. I made a proposal to divide up some unallocated funds, and because it was a common sense suggestion, all of the members agreed with me on that, and so I was able to bring a consensus together and get a good common sense solution for our community.
We're going to move on to, one more, Mr. PK1.
Well, first of all, I'm declined to stay. My reason for teaming up with Larry and Beth is because I believe and share in their vision for Irvine. I mean, what's wrong with Irvine? I've lived here for 10 years. I don't see anything wrong with Irvine, and I believe in their philosophy and their vision and what they've done so far for the last 10 over years. If something is wrong with that, I mean, I'm here to help. I have been in business from large corporations to very small corporations, and I bring with you my skills and my fiscal responsibility skills to make sure that we move in the right direction. And I think I can bring fresh ideas to the council, and that's what my plan is, to join with current council members to move forward in a positive direction. Thank you.
Okay, the following questions are collected from the audience, and all of you will answer. We're going to start from Mayoral candidate first, and then move on to City Council. And we'll start with that rotating order.
Did you say this is the last question?
No. Collected from the audience. Yeah, everybody will answer. And this is a long one. Each of you have talked about how wonderful Irvine is to live in. Yet, some of you say we're headed in the wrong direction, despite Irvine having a surplus, top education, and increasing business opportunities. Can you please explain what actually is wrong with the current direction and what transparency is needed?
Well, thank you for that question. Of course, I don't think we're going in the wrong direction. I think we're going in the right direction. We are indeed becoming the safest, smartest, and greenest city in America, and we're doing so in an enduring way. There are challenges that we continue to face. We've met the economic challenges. We have further challenges ahead. If Proposition 30 or 38 doesn't pass statewide, if Measure BB is not successful, we are going to have a school district facing a shortfall that the city's going to have to step into and do the right thing. That's a continuation of the direction that we're on. I say let's keep moving forward in a positive direction,
Next one,
meeting
please.
all challenges.
Katherine Daigle, please.
The city at its face looks perfect. It looks wonderful. However, as you know, our education is not. There is not enough funding for our education. If we don't pass BB, you will have to worry about paying additional taxes to fund the schools. I don't want to pay additional taxes. I'm sure you don't want to pay additional taxes. So we need to put someone forth who's willing to negotiate, go up to Sacramento and face Governor Brown to help the schools get their money in order for our schools to maintain the best possible schools for our kids. The rainy day fund is too low.
Dr. Stephen Choi?
Thank you.
A while ago, I mentioned that I need to restore the integrity and the honesty and the transparency in the city government when I get elected as mayor. What is wrong? We mentioned that the fine things, many things behind the scene that we need to work on and rebuild. The Great Park has been the source of embarrassment to many people in Orange County. Where is the park? That's what they asked. So we need to build a park very fast and cost efficiently. And the sole source bidding, that the bidding is going out to their close friends, that's not good. Traffic is a tragedy. We need to
We're
improve the
moving
traffic
on
conditions.
to the third speaker from City Council, Ms. Beth Krom.
Thank you very much. You know, I think what I'm grateful for, because I do think the city's moving in the right direction, and I think it's moving in the right direction, not just because of the people who are in leadership on the council, but because we have such an engaged community, and such an educated community. And it's always disappointing to me that a lot of people only get their information during a campaign season. So, you know, I think one of the things that we did when I first came on the council that I'd like to restore are Let's Talk Irvine meetings, where we can actually invite the community to come out and ask the questions to the city about the issues that concern them, whether that's traffic, whether that's the Great Park, anything. Because I think an engaged community is a successful community. Thank you.
Ms. Christina Shea?
Yes, thank you. Well, we all know Irvine's a great city. It's because of all of you. It's because of policies that have been set over the many years by our council. I've been a part of that. Others up here have been a part of that success in the city. So I don't see us getting to a point that we need to change everything, but I do know that there have been things that have been done that we do need to work on. One is the Great Park. Our money is gone. We probably have $10 million left. And because of that, we are looking at a huge housing project that has taken over our golf courses that we proposed, taken over a cemetery, and now we're looking at huge traffic impacts because of that mismanagement and some of those no-bid contracts. And also our city budget, we just gave 6% increase to our employees, but the last 4 years we've been adopting deficit budgets. We need to stop that. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Well, Irvine is definitely a shining star. It's a wonderful city to live in. There is some room for improvement. For example, the 2010 public safety budget was at $56 million. Next year's projected budget is $61 million. Now, that's not from hiring one additional police officer. That's not from hiring one additional firefighter or one additional anybody. That's from the higher salaries and benefits we have to pay the unions. Now, this cost is going to be increasing over the next couple years. Another red flag is 10 years and no Great Park and $230 million wasted. So if you think that is the right direction, then I would say vote for the others. But I want to take us in a positive new direction. Thank you.
Ms. Lynn Schott, next.
For education, we're already talking this year about passing an additional funding in Measure BB for our schools. And my biggest concern is what kind of pressure will be put on our school system if those 10,700 homes come in? Will those students all be in Irvine Unified? Will those buildings need to be maintained by our city, by our funding? That is a huge concern for me. As far as business, lately we've had votes at the city council not only to institute prevailing wage on all projects in the city, raising those costs, but also banning certain and targeting certain types of businesses for closure. Our surpluses have been built up in certain accounts by using reserves from other accounts. Our infrastructure and rehab, one of the particular funds, is down to $1.6 million, which is barely 4 or 5 months of reserves.
T.K. Wong.
Thank you. First of all, I think we're moving in the same and positive direction. I don't see anything wrong with that. These are tough economic times, and one of the areas that I think I'll focus on as a council member is to ensure we use our resources as effectively as we can. Growing revenue is going to be tough, and planning as we grow the city is also very important. I mean, we talk about the Great Park, about traffic congestion. I think we're jumping the gun. I mean, to build 10,000 homes, yes, that could be an issue, but it could also not be an issue. But I think the city council has to review the facts. Let's not jump to conclusion and say 10,000 homes are too many homes for the Great Park. I think here what we need is strong leadership, and we have seen that in Irvine.
Next,
If I had to point to one thing, I would say that our politics are a significant challenge to our being able to leverage the skills and the capacity and talents in the community. Any of you who works closely with any sort of citywide services know that the closer you get to City Hall and the closer you get to an election, the more difficult it is to collaborate with the people who are your friends and neighbors. And I see that operating in the city staff itself. On the school district, on the school board, we try to insulate our teachers from politics, insulate our staff from politics, and free them up to be collaborative, entrepreneurial, building relationships. I'd like to do the same thing at the City Council. Thank you.
this question is from a young student, and it's for all of you. So from Mayoral, start with second, and from City Council, start with number 4. Right? How do young people participate in the city?
I love that question. That's a great question. I'd like to see more kids over at the senior center. I would love to have them get involved in community services. My daughter comes over, she's elected to play the piano and work in the choir with our seniors. I think it's a great idea. What better, absolutely best thing to do is to take our kids, get them with the seniors, and some of them who very rarely get to go out, to spend some time doing the things that they want to do with the greatest pleasure that they could possibly enrich both lives. That is what I think the students should do. Thank you.
Yeah, for many years, I'm the only city councilman who have implemented and actually hired many interns, including this past summer. Somewhere 6 to 8 members of high school students and college students I hired as my intern and gave them the projects for them to learn. This year, for them to study on the redevelopment agency, what that was, and for them to experience how the city government operates. So this is an example. I just don't preach. I care about our children, our young people, particularly who are heading for colleges. I think they need experience and the resume building practice. So that's the reason I've been giving that kind of opportunities.
I just need to correct the record for a moment with some proof. Like Councilmember Choi, it's been my privilege to hire as interns young people from our high schools over the years. Indeed, one is here today, Sean Choi, who's working on my staff at City Hall. I also believe it's important to understand what we do for kids and what they can do with us. One big program that most people don't know about, this city council has funded school resource officers, and Measure BB would add to that, putting police officers in our high schools and junior high schools to work with kids, to serve as counselors, and to make it a two-way participatory path.
Next one, Christina Shea.